6:12 a.m. The alarm hasn't gone off yet, but you're already awake. You stare at the ceiling of your 400-square-foot studio, listening to the city begin to grind the silence into dust. This is your first year, your first real contract, your first chance to be someone. You brew the cheapest coffee that remains drinkable without a wince. On your bank statement, $142 until next Friday. On your student loan portal, $64,000 in principal. You call it an investment in your future, but in the gray light of the morning, it feels more like a heavy-gauge chain welded to your ankle. The first rule of the rat race. The system sells you an entry ticket you can't afford so that you're forced to work a job you can't afford to lose. You leave the apartment. The subway turnstile clicks with a microsecond delay, the first tax the city takes from your time today. The train is a pressurized tube of people in identical suits with identical hollowed-out eyes. You are all fuel. You all believe the same lie. This is only temporary. You think you're just passing through, that in a year or 5 you'll get off at a different station. But the machine doesn't design exits for those who have learned how to turn the wheel. Your office is on the 12th floor. Your desk is 5 feet of laminated particle board. Your day is a sequence of spreadsheets no one checks and emails no one truly reads. You are Analyst 1, the absolute bottom of the biotic pyramid. You process data on logistics, on margins, on overhead. You watch millions of dollars migrate from one cell to another, but to you, they are just glowing pixels. Your reality is a $9 salad in a plastic container and the desperate hope that your laptop doesn't stop working this month. Then, the first big paycheck arrives. The number on the screen looks enormous. You feel the dopamine hit of a winner. You go to a bar. You buy the sneakers you've been eyeing for months. You order dinner without checking the market price. And in that precise moment, the trap closes. You don't notice the lifestyle creep at first. It's a silent, biological process. Your expenses begin to rise in perfect lockstep with your income. Your new apartment is slightly better than the old one. Your coffee is now $5 instead of $1. Your credit card balance begins a slow, inevitable climb because you've earned it. You start buying things to impress people you don't even like, using money you don't actually have. At 11:00 p.m., you are the last one to leave the floor. You look out at the city through the floor-to-ceiling glass, the kind of glass that isn't available on your level. You see the silhouettes on the 40th, 50th, 60th floors. You think they are free. You think if you just work twice as hard, if you bill more hours, if you format the decks perfectly, you will end up there and everything will change. You don't understand the geometry yet. On the 50th floor, the wheel just spins faster, and the cage is simply plated in gold. You have officially entered the game, and the rules of this game were written 100 years before you were born. The second rule: in the rat race, the winner isn't the one who finishes first. The winner is the one who stops running. But you don't even know where the door is yet. You go home. The $142 in your account has become $86. You set the alarm for 6:12 a.m. The machine took its first step today. You took yours. 5 years have passed, or maybe it's been 7. In the machine, time isn't measured in seasons. It's measured in fiscal quarters and bonus cycles. You don't remember the last 3 summers, but you remember exactly when the LIBOR rates shifted. You are no longer Analyst 1. Your business card now says Vice President or Senior Associate. The font is slightly embossed. The paper stock is heavier. It's a small detail, but at this level, details are the only things that keep you from realizing you're still in the same cage. Your salary has tripled. On paper, you are a success story. You are the person your high school friends talk about when they want to feel inadequate. But your bank account doesn't feel 3 times larger. It feels tighter, more precarious. The $9 salad has been replaced by $65 steak frites at a bistro where the lighting is designed to hide the bags under your eyes. You don't ride the subway anymore. You take an Uber Black because your time is too valuable to spend with the public. But the time you're saving isn't yours. It belongs to the firm. You're just optimizing the delivery of your own body to a desk. You've moved. The 400-square-foot studio is a memory. You now have a 2-bedroom in a zip code that signals arrival. The rent is $4,800 a month. You told yourself you needed the space for a home office, but you only ever use it to sleep for 5 hours before the 6:30 a.m. call with London. You drive a German sedan now. You don't even like driving, but the lease is $100 a month because everyone else in the parking garage has one. You are participating in a silent arms race of status, and the only winner is the dealership. The third rule: wealth is what you don't see. But in the rat race, you are forced to spend your wealth so everyone can see your status. You look at your personal balance sheet. It's a terrifying architecture of leverage. A $750,000 mortgage, a $60,000 car loan, private school tuition for a child you only see on weekends. You have built a life that requires a $300,000 a year burn rate just to stay level. You are a high-performance engine running on a fuel called anxiety. If you stop working for 3 months, the whole structure collapses. The bank takes the car. The landlord takes the keys. The status evaporates. You realize that you haven't bought freedom. You've just bought a more expensive set of obligations. You are more of a slave now than you were when you had $142 in your account. Back then, you could have walked away and slept on a couch. Now, you have a reputation to protect. You have skin in the game. You sit in a meeting on the 34th floor. Your managing director is speaking. He is 51 years old. He has had 2 heart procedures and 3 divorces. He owns a house in the Hamptons he hasn't visited in 2 years. You watch him carefully. You see the way his hand trembles slightly when he reaches for his water. You realize he isn't the master of the machine. He is just a more senior part of it. He's the same analyst 1 you were, just 30 years deeper into the maze. He isn't the exit. He's the warning. You look out the window at the skyline. The sun is setting, turning the glass towers into pillars of fire. It looks beautiful from here. It looks like power, but you know the truth now. You know that every light in every window represents someone else formatting a deck, someone else running a model, someone else trading their life for the illusion of moving up. You open your laptop. A new email from a client in Singapore. Urgent. You don't sigh. You don't complain. You just open the spreadsheet. You've learned that at this level, the only way to deal with the weight of the handcuffs is to pretend they're jewelry. The fourth rule: the more you earn, the more you owe to the version of yourself you've created. And that version is a hungry god. 12 years. You are 35, or perhaps 38. The age doesn't matter. Your biological clock has been synchronized to the Bloomberg terminal for so long that you measure time in basis points. You have achieved what the 23-year-old version of you called the dream. You sit in the back of a black town car, crossing the bridge into the city at 5:15 a.m. The rain streaks the window, distorting the neon signs of the banks. You look at your reflection. You look expensive. Your suit costs more than your first car. Your watch is a masterpiece of Swiss engineering that tells the time in 3 time zones you're too tired to visit. But there is a hollow space where your ambition used to be. You are no longer grinding. You are navigating. You spend your days in rooms where the air is filtered and the conversations are coded. You've reached the level where the work isn't about spreadsheets anymore. It's about optics. It's about being in the right room, next to the right person, saying the right nothing. You've seen the human cost modeled 1,000 times. You've sat through meetings where a $400 million restructuring resulted in the termination of 4,000 workers in a town you couldn't find on a map. You didn't flinch. You didn't lose sleep. You looked at the EBITDA margin, and you saw that it improved by 4.2%. You collected your percentage. You bought a bottle of wine that cost as much as those workers' monthly rent. The fifth rule. At this level, empathy is a liability. The machine doesn't want your heart. It wants your objectivity. To succeed, you must learn to view people as rounding errors. You look at the juniors on your team. They are 24. They are hungry. They look at you with the same envy you once felt for your MD. You see them staying until 2 a.m. trying to impress you. You want to tell them it's a trick. You want to tell them that the arrival they're working for is a mirage. But you don't. You need them. The machine needs their youth to keep the older gears turning. You realize that everyone around you is playing a game of musical chairs. The music is the market, and the chairs are the dwindling number of partner slots. You protect your territory. You build a network of mutual utility. You don't have friends anymore. You have strategic alliances. Every lunch is a transaction. Every dinner is a deposition. You go home to a house that feels like a museum. Your spouse is a stranger you share a Google Calendar with. Your children see you as a source of high-end electronics and occasional weekend appearances. You have everything you ever wanted, and yet you have never felt more like a ghost. The shift happens on a Tuesday afternoon. It's not a dramatic event. There are no sirens, no market crashes. You are sitting in a boardroom on the 60th floor waiting for a client. The client is 74 years old. He owns a private equity firm that manages $12 billion. He walks in wearing a wrinkled linen shirt and old loafers. He looks like he just finished gardening. He doesn't look at the pitch deck you spent 3 weeks preparing. He doesn't look at the models. He sits down, pours himself a glass of water, and looks out the window. He says, "I'm not interested in the IRR. I'm interested in the ownership. Who owns the land? Who owns the patents? Who owns the distribution?" And in that moment, the scale falls from your eyes. You realize that for 15 years, you have been a high-paid operator. You've been the most efficient, most expensive servant in the building. You were focused on your income, while the people you serve were focused on their assets. The sixth rule: income is a treadmill. Assets are a vehicle. You can run 100 miles an hour on a treadmill, and you will still be in the same room. A vehicle moves even when you're asleep. You look at your $500,000 salary and your $200,000 bonus. You realize it is a bribe. It is the price the machine pays to keep your brain focused on their wealth instead of your freedom. You have been building someone else's empire, brick by brick, while they gave you just enough status to keep you from noticing you were the builder, not the owner. You run the numbers on your own life for the first time with total honesty. You have high income, but zero peace. You have high status, but zero time. You have high debt, but zero equity. You realize that the rat race isn't a race you can win by running faster. It's a race designed to keep you running until your heart stops, or the firm retires you with a gold watch and a pat on the back. You look at the 74-year-old man. He isn't working. He is allocating. He isn't trading his hours for dollars. He is trading his capital for control. He owns the machine you've been serving. You look down at your hands. They are steady. The cynicism is gone, replaced by something much more dangerous: clarity. You realize that the exit door isn't at the end of the career ladder. It's to the side. It's the moment you stop optimizing for a bigger paycheck and start optimizing for passive cash flow. It's the moment you realize that a $5,000 dividend is worth more than a $50,000 bonus because the dividend doesn't require 80 hours of your life to exist. You don't say anything in the meeting. You present the deck. You play the part. But inside, you've already quit. You've started the parallel path. You've started buying back your life, one share, one property, one asset at a time. You look at the city skyline as you leave. For the first time, you don't see pillars of fire or symbols of power. You see a giant game of Monopoly where most of the players are too busy fighting over the salary square to notice that the game is won by the people who own the board. The seventh rule: the system doesn't want you to be wealthy. It wants you to be a high earner. Wealthy people are hard to control. High earners are the easiest people in the world to manipulate. You just give them a slightly bigger house and a slightly better title, and they will work themselves to death. You are 44. You've stopped counting the years. You've started counting the cash flows. The transition from stage 4 to stage 5 is invisible to everyone but you. On the outside, nothing has changed. You still have the office, the title, the expensive suits, but inside, you've performed a surgical detachment. You've moved your capital out of the consumption bucket and into the acquisition bucket. You no longer care about the bonus. You no longer care about the office politics. You are post-economic. True financial freedom doesn't look like a Ferrari or a private jet. It looks like a Tuesday morning when you realize you don't have a single meeting on your calendar that you didn't choose to be in. It's the silence of a house that is fully paid for. It's the steady, rhythmic heartbeat of dividends, rental income, and carried interest hitting your account while you're out for a walk. The eighth rule: true power is not being able to tell people what to do. True power is being able to say no to anyone, at any time, for any reason, without consequences. You look at your portfolio. It's no longer a collection of numbers, it's a shield. Every $100,000 of passive income you've built is a layer of armor between you and the rat race. You've stopped being a player in the game, and you've started becoming the house. You resign, not with a shout, not with a dramatic speech. You simply walk into the HR office, sign the papers, and hand back the badge. The security guard, a man who has seen 1,000 success stories come and go, gives you a small nod. He knows. He's seen people leave in tears, and he's seen people leave in handcuffs. You are leaving in silence. You spend the first 6 months in a state of decompression. The phantom vibration of your phone in your pocket, the one that used to signal an urgent email, finally stops. You realize that the world didn't stop turning because you stopped formatting decks. The firm didn't collapse because you weren't there to run the 4 a.m. model. The machine simply replaced you with a hungry 28-year-old who was waiting for your seat. The ninth rule: the system is designed to convince you that you are indispensable so that you will work yourself to death. The reality is that the machine has a spare part for everyone. You are 71 now. You sit in a room that doesn't feel like an office. No monitors, no clutter, just a single desk made of reclaimed oak and a view of a garden that you actually have time to tend. You manage a family office. You are the senior advisor. You don't have a boss. You don't have clients. You have interests. You sit on boards, not because you need the director's fee, but because you want to ensure the long-term stability of the assets you spent 30 years acquiring. Your identity has shifted again. You are no longer the banker. You are the capital. You look at the world through a different lens now. You see the cycles. You see the bubbles forming 3 years before they burst. You see the way governments move and markets react. It's all so predictable. It's all just physics. You look at your grandson. He is 23. He just graduated from an Ivy League school. He is wearing his first expensive suit. He is vibrating with ambition. He tells you about his new job at a top-tier firm. He tells you about his salary. He tells you about the opportunity. He thinks he's starting a journey. He thinks he's going to win. You look at him, and for a second, you see the ghost of the boy who brewed cheap coffee in a 400-square-foot studio 48 years ago. You want to tell him. You want to warn him about the golden handcuffs, the plateau of cynicism, and the survival trap. But you don't. You can't. The machine requires his belief to function. He has to run the race himself to understand that the prize at the end isn't the trophy. It's the realization that you never had to run in the first place. The final rule: the rat race only ends when you realize that you were the one holding the stopwatch the whole time. You wish him luck. You watch him walk out the door, straight toward the glass towers that are already beginning to glow with the morning sun. Somewhere in the city, an alarm goes off at 6:12 a.m. A terminal blinks. The market opens, and the machine takes another step forward.